Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Fluffy, and I'm back with another video and another episode of Worries and Wine. And as you guys can see, I have Cushy Simone, also known as Dazyna. Yes! I'm so ecstatic that she was able to do the show with us today, you guys. And of course, this would not be an episode of Worries and Wine if I did not have my recommendation for you guys. And today I have the Stella Rosa, which is the pineapple. So if you guys have not tried this, please go and try it. It's a great mixer. I have mixed this with frozen drinks. I have made all types of stuff with this pineapple flavor. So if you guys haven't had it, please go grab it. Check it out. You will love it. I promise. And you want to divulge in what you got going on in that cup? Because it's serious over there. I saw that Sprite.
No, so it's just some Sprite mixed with some Kool-Aid today. I'm not feeling too well. My stomach hurt a
Okay.
little bit. So,
Okay.
but I was gonna get some wine. I like dessert wines. I like sweet wines,
Yes.
rosé, Moscato. You
Okay. See,
know,
look, we can drink together, sis.
yes. Listen, you didn't see my face when you said pineapple Stella Rosa. Wait, hold
She was
on.
like, wait, what
That's
I
fancy, right? That's fancy.
Yes, definitely. All right, y'all. So that is our recommendation for today. So whether you drink or you don't drink, we got the best of both worlds going. So
Period.
as you guys know, the show is always focused on worries, and I know that we were able to see Dazyna on Growing Up Hip Hop, and there are some episodes that are going around where she really, and I commend you for this because you really put your lifestyle out there and being as real as you could. I mean, you grew up with, who is your dad? I'm gonna let you say it. Who is your dad?
Flavor Flav, yeah, boy.
And so let me ask you this: what was it like growing up and being able to tell people like, "Hey, that's my dad"?
So I wasn't really that kid growing up. Like
Okay.
I grew up very regular. Um, what you would consider regular, I guess, as opposed to a celebrity child. I
Mhm.
grew up just like everybody else. I went to public school. I've lived in the hood.
Mhm.
I didn't live in no gated community and things like that. Um, So I never really been the type to, kind of brag, if you would say,
Mhm.
like, oh, that's my dad, that's my dad. No, I want people to like me for me.
For
Um,
you,
you know, I dealt with self-esteem issues and stuff as a child, so I didn't really like too much attention. That's
okay.
another reason why I didn't really tell people who my dad was. It's just like build your own perception, and then people just happen to find out. Then it was like
Mhm.
that's when I got, special treatment, or
Treatment.
I got like people hating on me. Like, it was
Mhm.
one or the other. It's either now you want to be my friend, or now you don't want to be
Right.
my friend because you think I'm all that. And it's like, no, I'm regular.
She said, "I'm regular. Look, like, so don't put me on that status." So you felt like a lot of people at some time after they found out, they started to treat you different. How did that play a role with your mental psyche? Did you feel like I gotta watch who I befriend now? Because are you here for me, or are you here because you think of what you can get from me? Did you suffer with
So
that too?
So as a kid, I suffered a lot with that because it's like, at first I thought, everybody want to be my friend now. So it's like, maybe I should tell these people who my dad is. Now I got all these friends. But then as I got older, and I got wiser with age, it's like, okay, well, when I did tell people, they would want to be my friend, but then their true colors come out. They talking about me. They telling my
Mhm.
personal business. Like girls want to fight me, and it's just like,
Wow.
well, okay. Let me not tell people who my dad is and see
That
how they
is.
react. Like I didn't. I just learned after a while how to tell people's intentions, like just off the first rip. That's why I don't really tell people who my dad is, or tell people who I am, or what I do, and things like that.
Mhm.
I let you give your first impression first, and then once you find out, I see how you act. And it's like, okay, well,
Okay.
this person is genuine. I like this person. I can keep them around. Or no, this person has ulterior motives. Like,
Mhm.
over the years having to deal with that, it just helped me to read people better.
Right. Okay. So that's a good thing because we do have to be able to read people because not everybody's intentions are genuine. And it's unfortunate that we do come across people that are like that. So you said growing up, you lived in a hood, growing up, you went to public school, so it wasn't the pretty picture of what we saw, like the kids off of MTV Cribs, where they like go to this fancy school. And so, how did that make you feel, knowing that, dang, that's okay, this is who my dad is, and now this is my situation? Did that ever play a part in your, of how you become and how you, like, who you are, like?
Yes, that actually played a huge part because I had a lot of resentment towards my dad growing up because
Mm,
I felt like we should be in a better position. I felt like my mom shouldn't be struggling with three kids.
mm,
Like especially me being the oldest with my mom, and I'm getting like a firsthand view of everything that's going on. Like I had to grow up quick at a young
mhm,
age to help my mom out with my siblings, to help her out just with life and things. Period.
mhm,
So I had a lot of resentment. I felt like life should have been better. But as an adult now,
mhm,
I realized that my dad, everybody is put here for a purpose. Nobody's
mhm.
taught how to be a good parent.
Right.
Like what is a good parent? Like nobody knows that. You can't give a definition to that. So now I understand, he had a different purpose in life. He tried his
Mhm,
best. He did what he was taught, he did what he was shown, and then he learned a little bit too.
mhm,
So now I don't really feel bad. I mean, I'm not really upset or anything like that. I actually appreciate the way I grew up because it made me the woman that I am today.
right.
Even with the things, the goals and accomplishments that I have accomplished, like I'm still regular degular cushy from the Bronx. Like
Yeah,
that
regular
ain't never
degular.
gonna
Okay, come
change.
on. Right. Okay. So do you feel like if you could go back and talk to the younger you, what would the younger you be able to say to that girl that was growing up that held onto all that resentment?
I would tell her, let it go, girl. Let it go.
Okay, let it
It'll
go.
it'll make you feel so much better. You holding on to all that anger and that resentment and all that, and everybody else is living their life like nothing ever
Mhm.
happened. Let it go, sis. You can't control people's actions. You can't control how people
Mm,
move. You can't control what people do. All you can control is you. So control that and love
did you?
yourself.
Oh, that's a good one. Love yourself. Did you ever feel like my dad doesn't love me? Did you feel that way when it came
I
down to it?
I did as a kid, especially like I said, I'm the oldest with my mom and my
Mhm,
dad. My dad has children older than me, but like in my
mhm.
group,
But
I'm
in
the
your group,
oldest.
mhm,
Yeah, I'm the oldest. Like my mom has three children with my dad. And I felt like because I had to grow up so fast at a young age, I felt like my dad, didn't love me. You always, as
mhm.
a girl, you're supposed to be daddy's girl,
Girl, right.
like you're supposed to be able to turn to him and things like that. And I felt like sometimes he wasn't there when I needed him and stuff like that. But like I said, growing up and becoming an adult, I just realized like, he had other things that he was accomplishing, excuse me.
Accomplishment. Okay.
So,
And so where are you now with your relationship with your dad?
oh, that's my motherfucking nigga now. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
man's now. Him
That's
and
your
my
ace.
mom's.
Okay.
Listen, him and my mom's, that's Ace and that's Boom Coon. Okay?
Boom.
Got
Okay.
my
So now you got
Ace,
the ace.
Boom
Boom, boom.
Coon.
Okay.
Listen,
Yes.
okay?
That
Those are
is
my
so good to
niggas.
hear.
Big
Okay.
Ange, that's my mom. That's why I call her. She been my ace. Like I said, we
Hmm.
grew up together. You feel me? And she held it down. But like Big Willie, that's my nigga. That's my man's 100 grands.
Okay. That's good. So you're in a good place. So with
Yes.
that being said, I know that at some point you said you were homeless. Now, for you to get to know me a little bit, is that I work with the homeless here in Los Angeles. I work for one of the biggest agencies that deal with homelessness here in the front of LA. So it's always the touchy subject for me, which I can understand at some point it could be for you. So how did that happen?
Um, so I actually was homeless a few different times.
Hmm.
Just hopping from people's couch to couch, floor to floor, whatever. Just because, like, once I left home to go to
Hmm.
college, like, I came back after my freshman year, just because, like, my mom was very strict growing up. being a single mom with 3 children, and then her oldest being a daughter, so she just wanted to make sure I didn't do, a lot of the things that she did. And when I left, I kind of didn't know how to act because I was on this leash for so long.
Right. So you just
My
kind of let loose.
I let loose. So
Okay.
after my freshman year in college, I came back home for a year, and I was sleeping on my mom's couch, and I just realized, like, listen, I can't do this. Like, I'm 19,
Hmm.
I'm out of high school. I got to do something better with myself. So I ventured off into the world, and then just a few decisions, a few relationships, you
Hmm.
know, that I made just led to me like not actually doing what was best for me.
Hmm.
So I just living with a guy and his family, then breaking up, and not wanting, my main thing was not wanting to go back to my mom. Like, my mom has done
Okay.
so much for me, like she done bent over backwards 1,000,003 times. You get what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And I felt like, me being the oldest, I need to fend for myself now. She has 2 other
Okay.
children that she has to look after. So I need to figure it out in this world. Like, she didn't make no weak bitch. I'm not weak.
Okay.
So you know, I had to just bite the bullet sometimes and sleep on people's couches just because my pride wouldn't let me go back to my mom. Like,
Mhm.
I felt like I'm one less burden on her. Even though I could always go back home to mom.
Home.
I
Right. I
could
was gonna say it sounds like she's set up to where it was if you would have said, Mom, I'm down on my luck, she would have accepted you back. But for your sake, you were like, I gotta be able to make this work.
yeah, I got to figure it out. Like, and
Okay.
then this was like the transitioning phase for me where, I started actually really trying to figure out where my resentment for my dad came from, and
Okay.
like trying to transition into that. Like, when I did break up the first time I ended up homeless, I broke up with this guy I had been dating, and I was living with him. I
Hmm.
had my own apartment, but I
Hmm.
decided to give up my apartment because I was spending so much time with him. And then when things didn't work out, I didn't have anywhere to go.
Go.
Like,
Hmm.
that relationship wasn't really too good. And my family at the time was kind of upset with me because I kind of chose my relationship over what they were telling
Over
me.
him. Hmm.
So that's why I ended up in that situation with not having anywhere to go. And it was my own fault. It was my own decisions.
It was your own decision, and and you take accountability for that, which is the greatest part in that, because a lot of people don't take accountability for their own actions. I've seen many women that would have blamed it, well, he was doing me this way, he was doing me that way, and they don't just say, but at the end of the day, I chose to be there, right? So
Right.
if you had chosen to be there, do you think that because of the relationship you had with your dad growing up, do you feel like that played a role into why you stayed in such a toxic, tumultuous relationship
I feel
to
like
lead to your homelessness?
because I've been in a few toxic relationships, and I
Hmm.
feel like my relationship with my dad growing up definitely does play a part in it. Because I be looking for love. I need that
Hmm.
manly love. I need that,
Hmm.
you know. And I've realized that now as an adult, so I'm working on that. I'm working on just loving myself. But me
Right.
looking for that love, you know, it's been a few times behind a man why I ended up homeless because of the decisions that I've made.
Mm. Okay.
So I know what my issues are. I know the
Hmm.
things that cause me, and like you said, like, I have no problem taking accountability for my mistakes or anything and
Right.
dealing with the consequences. Like, that's what we got to do as people. We have to be open to, owning up to where we went wrong, owning
Right.
up to the decisions that we made, like, and actually dealing with it.
So as you were saying, you grew up, and then as these situations happen, relationships happen, you ended up homeless. And how did you rise from above that? I want to make sure that our people are understanding that yes, you can be in a position where you're down and out on your luck, and all of a sudden there's the light at the end of the tunnel. So how did that happen for you?
I will say that God has blessed me to have some really great people in my life,
Okay.
um, to keep me going, to keep me pushing, to just give me that helping hand that I needed. Um,
Hmm.
like, and even like majority of these people don't even have no blood relation to me, just my
Mm.
friends.
Okay.
and you know, just the people that I had around me just always telling me like, listen, you got this, you know, especially knowing that I deal with depression and things like that, just that
Mhm.
reassurance, just letting me know like, listen, keep going, like it's not, you know, opening their doors to me, you know, giving
Mhm.
me ways to make a way for myself, you know, just
Mhm.
have somewhere to rest my head, have somewhere to eat, have somewhere to shower, you know. Also
Right.
realizing that pride and ego definitely have to go to the
Mhm.
side sometimes, you know, like it's okay to need help. It's okay to ask for
Right.
help. It doesn't matter what situation you're in or who you are. Like everyone needs help. Everyone. Like
Everyone.
you
Mhm.
cannot live this life without help, without, you know, support, point blank and period. So I don't care if
Mhm.
you got a dollar
Okay.
in your pocket, I don't care if you got $1 billion in your pocket, you still gonna need help with
You need
something
some help.
regardless. Right. So just being okay with asking for help and
Right.
being okay with like talking about my problems and talking about the
Mhm.
things that I'm dealing with, you know, and realizing that I'm not the only one going through these things and building connections off of my flaws and off of my
Mhm.
issues and stuff like that. Just people having my back, like, listen, you're not alone. So,
Right. So I know that you have many brothers and sisters, right? And
yes.
whew, big family. I would hate Christmas, just to let you know. I'd be like, we doing a Santa Claus game. We gonna pick names.
See, my siblings, we all scattered out. Like my dad got
Right.
3 in one group, then 3 in my group, then one
Mhm.
here, and then one there, you
One
know.
there.
So
Right.
it's like we never
So
really spent like a Christmas together.
together. Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm hoping I'm gonna speak that into y'all existence that y'all could all come together and really enjoy each other and not have to have that separate time. But growing up, knowing that you had, older siblings, did that relationship between the siblings at some point, did that dwindle, or do you always feel like I wish I had a closer relationship with them, or because
No,
it just seems
we
like
got a group
everybody
chat.
your ages.
We
Oh, you got a
Nah,
group
we got a
chat.
group. Honey, we got the siblings group chat. We the Draytons,
Okay.
okay? Like my dad, that's one thing that I will say about my dad. He always tried to make sure that the 6 of us, because it's always been the 6 of us for so long. You know,
Hmm.
I have a 14-year-old brother, and then I have a 2-year-old brother. You know, so
Hmm.
they new to the group. They new to the gang.
Right.
The 6 of us, we like very close in age. The 3 older
Hmm.
ones, they're all 1 year apart. Me and my group, we are 2 years apart. Me
Okay.
and the youngest from the first group, we're like 4 years apart, you know. So it's like
Okay.
we're really close in age.
Age.
And that's
Okay.
one thing, like we've always kept in contact with each other, although they have a different
Oh,
mom from
that's so
us.
beautiful. Hmm.
Yeah, they've always reached out to us. They've always made sure that we kept in contact with each other. You know, we try our best to get up with each other as much as
Okay.
possible. We got our group chat. We be doing like video group chats together and stuff. My dad, whenever he would come into town, because we've all always lived in New York. So whenever
Hmm.
he would come into town, he would try his best to get all 6 of us together, you know, and every time we meet up, we ain't miss a beat. Like it's like
Okay.
we
So it's
seen each
like
other
stepping back,
yesterday.
like we never left, right?
Right, period.
Okay, good. So you
I'm
guys
more
didn't let
so.
the relationship fall because for me, and again, I like to let out a little bit of me in the show. So my biological father has one son, so I have a half brother out there aside from my other half brother that I live with, and
Okay.
we don't talk. We talk maybe like once a year. So I admire that you guys have like this group chat going and it's like, hey, and you have that. So it's like, a lot of people, I think when there's, different mothers and just raised differently, for me, it was a lot of that word that we said earlier, resentment, because I was
Right.
like, I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't
Right.
want to, I had to acknowledge that you were there for him and he knows so much about you and I don't.
Right. Right.
So that was the issue that I had. So that's why I asked that question because I'm like, man, you got woo, and it's only me and him. That's it, me and him. So I
See,
admire that.
with my older siblings, I don't really feel no sort of way towards them because my mom was very active with them. You know, when her and
Hmm.
my dad got together, she was very active with them. She's really good friends with their mom, you know, so there's never no bad blood on that side. And then they're older than me, you know, so
Hmm.
obviously they gonna know more about my dad than I do, you know, and I don't resent them for that or anything like that, because I can't control when I was born, you know. If he was
Right,
there for
right.
them longer, he was there for them longer. They in my life, my older sister, she makes sure she reach out. I'm very close with my two brothers. I have a brother older than me and a brother right
Mhm.
underneath me. His birthday was actually yesterday.
Oh, happy
But
birthday, bro.
right, I'm very close with like my two brothers that was on the show with me. I'm very close with them.
Hmm.
You know, we all always hang out. Just, and my siblings, my older siblings, they always make sure they reach out to us, because we they little brothers and sisters, you know. So they
Right.
always make sure to try to, like, you know, they were older than us, so they were driving before us. They were able to
Hmm.
travel alone before us, things
Right.
like that, you know. So they always make sure they come out. Once we got of age to travel, they make sure they try to orchestrate something to where we could get to them and things like
Together.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's like we all have that relationship, because granted they got a little bit more time with my dad, but he wasn't
Hmm.
really there for them either, just like us,
Right.
because he was building his
He was on a
legacy.
mission.
Right,
We was going to say he was on a mission, and he was,
right,
trying to become great. And with trying to be great, there are sacrifices that are made,
that you got to make. Right,
and
right, and
that's
sometimes
understandable. So,
right. That's what I realized. Like, he had to make certain sacrifices, and I feel
mhm,
like he didn't choose the sacrifices. They just happened. You get what I'm
right,
saying? And we just so happened to be the sacrifices. And it's like, luckily we have great moms, Big
right,
Ange and Big Karen. You feel me? Like, both of them. They held it
right.
down for the
Taking care,
gang.
hold it down. Right.
Right. They held it down for the gang, and we turned out to be great individuals. You know, my dad, he also instilled some great characteristics into us
Mhm.
when he did come around and things like that, you know. So, you know, we good. We good out here.
Okay. So with that being said, when you were going through your state of homelessness, when you were going through your states of depression, did you ever reach out to, your brother, your sisters? Did you reach out to them to kind of be like, "Hey, I'm hurting right now," and they're there for me? Did you ever reach out, or was it the pride and ego that would have been like, "I'm gonna deal with this on my own"?
So I didn't really start reaching out to people until, you know, more recent times.
Hmm.
Growing up, I was very private with my stuff. I used to write in a journal. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
like I'm normally the happy person. I'm the life of the party. I'm the one to get the party started. Like, you rarely see me cry. You have to be very close to me to see me cry, or like
Hmm.
something drastic has to happen in that moment for me to cry around
Right.
people.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not really like, I'm emotional because I'm a Pisces, but I'm not really like, as far as like tears and sadness and stuff, I
Hmm.
don't really like to show that. I'm like the happy person. Like, let's smile, let's have a good time. What do you
Hmm.
need to make you happy? Like, I'm more of a pleaser. Like, so if I didn't I didn't really, you know, talk about it. But now I talk about it because it's like, there's other people in the world dealing with what I'm dealing with. I'm not the only one going through
Right.
what I'm going through. So if me talking about it can help somebody else, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about it. And it
Oh,
makes me
nice.
feel
Okay.
better. It makes
Yeah,
me
it
feel
does,
better.
because now you're releasing it. You're not holding on to it just yourself. I think that is one of the issues, especially I will say in our brown skin communities, that we struggle with being able to come out and say, what's going on. Because for me, I had an issue and I didn't understand this until I got older. Then I sought out therapy for myself because I hit a very low point in life. Like, I was at rock bottom, and now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I'm so far from that. But it wasn't until I realized one day I woke up and I said, I can't do this alone.
Right.
I literally like came out of my room and I walked to my mom's room. I'll never forget. I had gotten out the shower and I was at such a low point that I would have cried if you would have dropped a penny. That's how low it was. And I really came out and said, you know what? I can't do this alone. I said, I need help. I need help. I was feeling like life wasn't even worth living for.
Right.
And so many people in our brown skin communities feel like because our parents were so strong, or you never really saw your parents going through something and you didn't quite understand how they were dealing with, because all you knew was that my mom is strong, something happens, the next day we back up and running and we moving along. Like, you didn't see your parents really actively deal with it in the way that would have affected you on a positive note. So naturally you grow up thinking like, I'm stronger than this, so I have to be stronger. So I was like, you should be able to deal with this. You should be stronger. Not realizing that sometimes you need a little bit of help.
Right. You know where I feel like that stems from? I actually had this conversation with a friend. I feel like it stems from like our ancestors, like the
Mm-hmm.
brown skin community, like
Mm-hmm.
minorities. We've been through so much, like,
Mm-hmm.
and we never could show a sign of weakness. Stemming back to
Right.
slavery, like
Yes.
that, like black people couldn't show weakness when we was in those cotton
Right.
fields. We couldn't show no weakness when we being
Mm-hmm.
whipped or any of that. We couldn't do any of that. So it's just instilled in us generation after generation after generation.
Generation.
You know,
Yes.
like nobody wants to talk about their problems because that's a sign of weakness, and we always have
Right.
to
And you
be,
don't
we
want to
always have
be,
to show
you don't want to be
strength,
perceived as that, right? Like, why is
right,
it
as
so
weak,
wrong? Right. But for
right,
them and our ancestors, because we are, you know, 465, maybe 500 years from actual slavery, but we're only maybe 60, 70 years from segregation. So we're not that far. We far, but we're not
we
that
not
far. But yet
we still not far, because look at Black Lives Matter. We
we
not
matter.
far,
A
we not
whole
far.
civil rights movement, right?
Right, it's all
Mm-hmm.
over again. History repeats
Mm-hmm.
itself. Just because we are no longer in chains, and just because
Mm-hmm.
we are no longer owned, does not mean that we still dealing with the same things we've been
The
dealing
same
with.
thing. Exactly.
So it's
Speak on
like,
it.
it's just still there. You feel me? That sign of weakness. Like when we show a little sign of weakness, like, no, we can't do that. We got to be strong. And it's like, what we have to realize as a community, it's okay for us to be weak. It's like everybody, we
Yeah.
human. We
We're
human.
human. Yes.
These white people could show that they weak. They could talk about, oh, they use health and mental health for everything. Oh, I use oxys because I have issues
This.
in my
Mm-hmm.
family problems, but your bank account got $1 million in it. You don't really know what
Mm-hmm.
issues is. Issues is not being able to feed your family. Issues is not being
Mm-hmm.
able to pay your rent and not know if you're gonna have a roof over
You
your
have
head
a dollar
tomorrow or
for it.
not.
Yep.
Right. Like these is real serious issues that cause real
Issues.
serious mental problems. You feel me?
And we're moving
So
along like the mental health
perfectly
part of
fine,
it is
like it's
not there.
nothing.
Right. We're
Right. We
moving
move
along.
along like
And
it's
yes,
nothing. Like
yes.
it's a lot of things that we have to deal with. Look, like absentee fathers and things like that, because they
Mm-hmm.
got to be out here working so hard. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That
They're
plays a
trying to
part.
figure out
It
how we're going to feed these three kids. It was like the sacrifice I made
exactly,
also fed you.
exactly,
You know, and then
exactly.
it's like you said, like, how can I be mad at that? Because at the same time, you were making a way to where this is all I know what to do to survive, you know? And like you said,
Right,
there's no guidebook for life. But
right,
the brown skin community is sought out to being like, we're so much stronger. We can deal with people saying stuff to us, you know, and then we walk outside and then there's a whole nother problem because the ones that's supposed to serve and protect, then whatever they have going on comes to work with them, and getting pulled over is a whole nother story. So not only do
right,
you have your worries from whatever you got going on in your personal life, when you step outside, that's another worry, you know,
right.
like, and people don't understand that. But what I want to say is that our brown skin community have to understand that it's okay to have all those worries, and it's okay to learn how to adequately deal with them.
Period. Exactly. Like it's
Like, it
okay
is okay
to
to do that.
feel, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be not
Yes.
be okay. It's okay to be down. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do all of that stuff. And like you said, the brown skin community, we're told it's not okay to cry. It's not
Mm-hmm.
okay to do this. It's not okay to do that. No, it is okay. It is okay. That's gonna make you feel better. That's gonna help you deal with things instead of making impulsive decisions and look, going and
Yes.
committing suicide or something like that. Like I've been there
Right.
before where I felt like that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way that I could go. You get what I'm
Like,
saying?
this is
And
the
it's like,
only answer.
no.
This is how this is gonna fix all of this.
Right. And
No,
it's
I
like, no, there's other ways of going about things. There's other ways. It's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to say it. Like, I'm not okay.
I want to make sure that the people understand, because I, for a long time, used to say, I was one of those people, like, when people would think about therapy, I grew up hearing that, oh, that's white people shit. I grew up hearing that.
Right.
And now that I've had my era of hitting rock bottom, I've grown from that, and here I am, and I sought out therapy. I went to therapy. I feel like that was the best decision I ever made, was to go to therapy, because it gave me someone that unbiasedly I could tell everything to, and not feel crazy for thinking
Right.
that, not feel crazy for feeling that, and just to understand, like, sis, it's not just you. It's probably quite a few other people that's thinking the same thing, but they not gonna say it because they're afraid of how we will perceive them. What I want to ask you is, how do we change that narrative? How do we change that?
I don't even know. Like, I went to therapy too, and the only reason why I stopped going is because my work schedule is kind of crazy right
Mm-hmm.
now. But I felt the same like you. Like, it feels so good to talk to somebody who is gonna unbiasedly give me advice. They're not gonna tell me what to do. They're not gonna tell me this is wrong. They're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
tell me, they're gonna just
Right.
suggest, like, listen, I listened to everything that you had to say. This is how I feel on it. You are not
Mm-hmm.
crazy. You entitled to
Right.
feel the way that you do, you know. And I feel like we just need to get more comfortable. Again, that goes back into that feeling weak stage, like, oh,
Right.
I'm not talking to no doctor about my problems, like. And it's like, you need to talk to somebody about your problems, because letting them just float around in your head is going to drive you crazy. That's going to
Right.
make you into a madman. Like, and talking to somebody who doesn't know your problems firsthand, it's like they
Right.
can't tell you, oh well, I feel like, like your mom, your
Right.
friends, your sisters, whatever, whoever you
Yeah.
talk to, you gossip with. Oh girl, you crazy. Oh girl, no, that's wrong.
Right. And
Oh
now you
girl.
like, I don't even know why I brought it up to you. Never mind.
Right. No, your therapist, they gonna sit there and they gonna jot everything
Hmm.
down, and they gonna be like, okay,
Okay.
all right. And then they gonna sum up everything, and they're gonna give you a synopsis of how you feel
Yeah.
in better
Hmm.
terms. They're gonna put your feelings into amazing words for you to understand, and then they're gonna help you figure out a way to fix them.
Right. And in
So
a
it's
way that's
like,
healthy, a way to
right, in a
fix those
healthy way.
issues in a healthy way, right? So
Right.
I want to implement that. You're coming from a healthy standpoint, because I have a couple friends that'll tell me to take the petty route. If it was me, this is what ain't. Then next thing you know, you like, that don't sound too bad, and
That
now
don't
you like,
sound too
yeah, that don't
bad.
sound too bad. That being petty, and
You
then
can sit
next
in
thing
the
you
back.
know, the situation is bigger than what it is. It's worse, and now you feel worse. And so, if you have those, and it's okay to have those friends, because they got to have somebody too. It's
Right.
part of our growing up. It's part of us, evolving. I like that word, evolving, because as people we grow. But it wasn't until I got into my 30s that I was like, you know what? It's nothing wrong with admitting that I got a few mental issues. It's nothing wrong with me taking accountability. It's nothing wrong with me you know, trying to, so to speak, fix life in a healthy way and being able to talk to somebody, right? So now that we're there and we have these coping skills and we know how to, for lack of better words, kind of deal with life, right? Where are you at in life now? Where's Cushy at? Where's she at mentally? What is she doing out in the world? What do you have going on now?
Well, I could definitely say I'm in a way better place than I
Yes.
was
Okay.
last year, the year before last, and the year before
Okay.
that. Okay. Just me realizing my issues, me addressing my issues, me coming to terms with the things that I've dealt
Hmm.
with. It's just been so helpful for me. I feel like it's giving me room to actually, like, giving me space in my arms to catch the blessings that God has intended for me.
Yes. Come
Um,
on.
like, I still have a lot of growth. Like, no
Hmm.
way in shape am I where I want to be or where I need to be. But I'm taking day by day, I'm taking step by step. Like, and
Hmm.
I just feel good. I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to
Okay.
love the space that I am in currently, because that's what we need to do as well in order to
Right.
grow. Like, be okay with where you are. It may not be where you want to be,
And
but be okay with
be
it.
okay.
be
Yeah.
be grateful, be thankful, be appreciative. Like, listen, this is not where I want to be, but it's better than where I was yesterday, and it's
Yep.
it's helping me get to where I want to be tomorrow.
Right.
Like, so address your problems. I'm addressing my issues. I'm dealing with them. I'm trying to just be more positive, put more positive vibes and vibrations out into the world. and actually mean it instead of wearing that face, that
Right,
face
like
that you
I'm
got.
telling y'all this, but you're not really feeling that way on the inside. It's one thing to
Right,
say it, it's one thing to proclaim it, but once you proclaim it, now you got to put action to it, right? You put
right,
it out there and you got to have action to it. And I want to also say this too, because you said something that kind of jogged this memory for me. Um, I remember at one point, and a lot of people won't admit this, but I felt jealous because I was seeing like my friends who were like, they're in their 30s, they're buying houses, they buying the cars, and and granted, I was always traveling, I was always doing, but there were other things that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be able to go buy a house, and you
right,
feel like a smidget of jealousy because you like, wait, what's going on? But what I want to say is that because of where you're at, and you said it, be okay with where you're at because it's not your time.
right,
Sometimes
right,
it's just when you see somebody else doing something that you want to do, it's not about necessarily saying, damn, I'm kind of jealous of that because I want to be able to do that too, but also being able to say, I'm not where I'm supposed to be at to do that move right there or to make
right,
those moves or to spend that money like that. And it's to say, okay, right now it's not my time. But
right.
if I
I used
keep
to
going
feel
on it,
like that. I used
yes.
to feel like that. That's what made me feel. That's what made me look at it the way I do now. Because I used to
Mm-hmm.
get jealous, and I'd be like, "Damn, how they
Mm,
buying a house and I can't buy a house? Damn, they got
right,
a car. I need a car. Damn, they getting
right.
married and having kids. I want to do
Yeah, I
that."
want to do
Like,
that. Right,
right. I used to do the same thing, and that's what makes us human. You get what I'm saying? Like, we
right,
human. We gonna do it, but don't be jealous of somebody because you don't know their story. You don't know what they went
right.
through
You
to
don't know
get
what
to
it
where
took
they
to get
at.
there.
Right.
You don't know
So it's
what it
like
took to get there.
you said, just because they there, it doesn't mean that you can't get there.
Get
It's just
there.
not your
Right.
time right now. Like,
Hmm.
be happy for them. Be joyous for them. You feel me?
Right.
Be like,
Indulge their
send them
happiness
good
so that way
right. Be like,
come
damn,
on.
I can't wait till instead of saying, oh, damn, I want that. No, damn, I can't wait till that's me. That's going to
Right.
be
That's
me one
gonna be
day.
me right there. That's gonna
Right.
be
Like,
me.
yeah, you
Yes.
doing that shit. I'm going to do that shit
Yes.
too. Watch.
Yes.
Like, that's how I look at it. Cause I'm not a hater. I'm not going to hate on
Right. I don't
nobody.
want to be a hater. I don't want to be that.
Right. Because like you said, like we spoke about earlier, me dealing with as many different people as I have, like just moving around as a child and stuff, like, and having to be able to know when people are being honest and showing their true
Hmm.
colors, that helped me because it's like I've had people hate on me and not even know my situation. Just
Right.
because
Not
y'all
knowing
hear
where you was at yesterday.
right. Just because y'all see me on TV or just because y'all know who my father is, y'all think that I went to these preppy schools. Like, yeah, I went to prep school. I went to Catholic school, but I've been to
Hmm.
public school too. Like, people
Right.
think that, oh, I drive a Mercedes and I got a private jet in my backyard and stuff. And it's like, listen, y'all building the wrong perception on me, and y'all haven't even had a conversation with me.
Right.
So I'm not gonna do that to nobody else because I don't know
Hmm.
what they went through to get to where they at
They
today. Just
are
like
at
nobody
right.
knew what I went through. That's why I went on that show and I was unapologetically myself because
And I loved
I'm
it. I loved every bit of it that you were so honest
thank
about
you.
everything because it was just like that like it's so genuine and you could feel it because there's times where remember I told you when I do my show I don't like scripts. I said wherever this show takes us, whatever conversation we have, because I want it to be just you and you being able to tell your story, you being able to say this is how I got to where I'm at.
Right,
I can't do that if I'm going to tell you, hey, okay, I need you to say this and no, you being
right,
you is what made you who you are.
right,
And
and
if
that's
some
what
people can't accept that, then I don't know what that is. If they just can't accept that. But with that being said, right, what would you say to someone now who is either battling depression or battling homelessness? What would you say to that person to uplift them?
I would tell them to keep pushing. I would tell
Mm-hmm.
them never give up hope in yourself. Like, if you ain't got nobody in this world, you always got yourself. You always got your own back. Like, never give
Mm-hmm.
up on your number one fan. You are your number one fan. Like, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to express your problems and things. Do not think that you're the only person who's been in your situation, who's in your situation. You are not alone. Um,
Okay.
I actually get a lot of people who write me on social media and stuff like that and email me and things like that. And they just tell me, like, just me being me has helped them so much to love
Mhm.
themselves, and just like it's just brightens their day, like, and it's helped them with their self-esteem, or to
Mhm.
express themselves a little more with their issues, and they don't even know how much that means to me, like how
Right.
much, like how happy that makes me, because that's
Mhm.
all I want to do. I love helping other people. I love seeing other people smile. I love seeing other
Yeah.
people happy. You like, I just love it. So like, anything that I could do to help others, I will do.
You
But
will do it.
and just keep going. Just don't give
Just
up.
keep
Don't
going.
give
Right.
up. It's a
Okay.
bigger reason, it's a bigger purpose for you to be here.
And so, lastly, what would you say to the girl that's in the toxic relationship and she's trying to find a way out? What would you say to her?
Love yourself, honey.
Come on.
No man is gonna love you more than you love you. Point blank and period. I don't care if he put a ring on it. I don't care if he gave you a baby. I don't care what that man or woman or whatever, whoever,
Right. Whoever
whatever
you
walk
with.
of life, right? Because I got my own walk of life. You feel me? So like,
Mhm.
no man or woman or whatever is going to love you the way that you can love you. You can love you the best. Like, and I'm still learning how to do that.
Right.
I'm still be dealing with toxic stuff. Okay, I ain't
Right.
gonna make it seem like I got it all figured out, because I don't, like, but I'm just learning to love me more and more each day. I'm learning to be more appreciative of the things that I have right now in the present.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm just learning to be my own best friend. Like,
Come
since
on,
we
your
don't need
own best
nobody.
friend. Okay.
Yes, since we don't need nobody out here, we a party by ourselves. Okay,
Right.
I
We a
got two.
party of one, and that's cool. And that's all right.
Listen, no, I'm a party of two, because I got two personalities. I got
Oh, come on,
designer,
sis.
and I got cushy. Okay,
Okay.
so designer and cushy learn to love each other, and
Each other.
learn to be in sync
Okay.
with one another. Okay, because we don't need nobody out here. Like, it's things that's happening to me that I used to talk about when I was 9 and 10 years old, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
yo, like, my tongue is powerful. The things that
Yes.
I say come like, I'm a witch. I'm a wizard. I got
Come on,
magical
sis.
powers. Okay,
Yes.
like, this is why I'm a unicorn. Like, this is why I have my
The
unicorn here
unicorn. Come
with
on.
me, because I'm a magical creature. All of us have a little bit of magic in us. We just need to learn how to hold on to that magic and put it out into the
And make
universe.
it work
But
and make it happen.
period.
Yes. I
Period.
love that. Come on. So that's the meaning of that tattoo. Okay. I like that.
Yes, that's why I call myself a unicorn. That's why I go by the unicorn. We all got a little bit of magic in us, and I'm just learning to wrap mines up and just control it.
And just and spew it out. Right. And then if we're gonna spew it out, it's gotta be positive vibes. It's gotta
Positive
be something.
vibes,
Yes.
peace, love, and chicken grease. Okay.
That part. I love that. So y'all, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this whole interview up. And man, I'm this when I say I feel so uplifted now, you have one of those conversations that you like, okay, I'm gonna have a good rest of the day right now,
Yes,
So much,
honey.
yes, so much knowledge was spit out at us, and then not only were you spitting knowledge, but you also gave us you again, you
Listen,
know.
that's all I can do. I'll tell you that anytime that I do anything, I can only be myself. And
Right,
I hope that everybody likes it. I hope that everybody loves it. But
right,
I don't care if y'all don't like it either.
right,
At the
right. Like
same
I
time,
also
like,
don't care, right? But if
right.
you
It's
love
like,
it,
I
even better,
hope, right,
right?
even better. But if not, that's your
Okay,
prerogative. I can't control that.
come on. And I love that. I love that. That's just one of those. I put this out there. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But if you don't, it's not gonna hurt. You know what I mean? It's like your approval is desired, but it's not required.
Right.
That's
Period.
all you gotta understand.
I
That's it,
like
right
that.
there.
I like that
Yes,
right that.
your
Cause you
approval is desired, but it's not required, honey.
period. Cause I'ma still be me today, tomorrow,
Tomorrow,
and the
yes,
next day. So
yes. All right, y'all. So make sure that y'all like, share, and comment and subscribe to this video. And don't forget to also add Cushy or Designer, whichever you may call her. I do have her Instagram below. It has been scrolling. So if you haven't taken the time to go and check her out, please make sure you go and do. Oh, and Designer, before we go, what can we look forward to seeing you in? What do you have going on in the future for us? So where can we find you at?
I have a lot of things actually going on. I'm trying to get into some more TV, so I'm putting
Okay.
myself out there a little bit more. I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. I've been in the studio.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I got some things coming.
Okay.
I got my merch line that I've been working on.
Okay.
I got some THC CBD things that I've been working on,
Okay.
because
Come
I'm
on,
very
sis.
big.
I need all my coins. I need multiple streams.
Listen,
Come
and they
in.
don't call me cushy for nothing, so I'm in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
Excuse
All
me.
right.
So
No
I got
judgments.
that. Um, and it's more like educational. Like, I want to educate people on cannabis, because it has
Okay.
some very good benefits for us health wise. So people would just be like weed and high, they think drugs, and they just be like, oh, no,
Right.
bad,
It's
bad.
like, no,
But
there are
no,
some health benefits from it.
listen, yes, a lot of cancer patients, a lot of people who have like chronic diseases and things like that, it
Hmm.
helps them tremendously. Like my grandmother, she was one of those people like, no, no, no. And me working at a dispensary, I sent her a little care package because she has lung cancer,
Hmm.
and it actually helped her. You don't always have to just smoke.
Right.
So, you could use it as a cream. You could eat it. Like, it's just a
Mhm.
lot of things. So,
There's other
I'm
ways.
trying
There's
to.
other benefits from it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get some things going to where I could educate people more on the cannabis. So
Okay.
I got some things going with that, my merch. I'm trying to start a food truck out here in Las Vegas. So,
Okay.
so yeah,
Look,
so I
don't
got,
play it. Look, your girl likes to eat, so I'll be on my way. I'll drive 3 hours. Okay, I will do
honey,
it.
I will come. I'm in LA right now, so listen, it ain't nothing for me to come out here and just. I got a
Pop
little
up. Look,
like,
here you go. Cause I'm ready for it.
the
Okay.
handoff. You like the handoff, like.
Right.
So, so listen, and cooking is like another way that I deal with things, like
Okay.
it's another way for me to spread love and joy, because like people always smile when they eat my food. So it just makes
Okay.
me
So
enjoy cooking. So,
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
sis. Well,
so
I'm gonna have to holler at you on personal low. Like, okay, what's up, sis,
look,
with the plate? Okay.
look, holla at your
But,
guala. Okay.
yes. All right, so we look forward to seeing you in whatever you bring forth to us. You are such an awesome person. Your vibes is beautiful, and you are literally, even without trying to educate someone, you have the ability to do so just alone in the whole persona and everything, and just was a breath of fresh air for me today, because it started
Thank
off rough for
you.
me today. Okay, so sis, when I say you have just uplifted me, just the spirit, the smile, and everything is just flowing together for
Thank
me, like
you.
it's working for me. Okay, so if you
You
didn't get
making
it,
me
if you
blush.
don't inspire nobody else, sis, you got me over here. Okay, I'm over here like,
You
oh, thank you.
you making me blush. Stop. Stop.
But it's up to us to give those compliments to each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's live in a world where people don't want to compliment, and I'm all for whatever my sisters is out here doing. I'm gonna compliment you on it. That's the
Right.
person that I am. You want to glow? Come on, sis. Let me help you glow. Get into all
Right.
this. I'm ready to. Okay, you got
Listen,
some
I'm
PhD points.
definitely a
I
hype
tried.
man. You better ask my friends, honey. I be
Yes,
like, yeah, cause you bad, sis.
you
Yeah.
bad. Yes, come
Stop
on.
playing.
Yes,
Okay.
we need
Listen,
more of
so
that. We need more of that. The world is already hard. It's
right,
already hard, and we don't need to make it no more harder than it already is.
right.
So, y'all, with that being said, I just want y'all to know that it is all right to have your worries and minds. And with that being said, we'll catch you on the next episode. Dazyna will catch you out here somewhere in this world. Make sure y'all go at her. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, with that being
Period.
said, I'm going to end it here.